These are the best heroes you can play right now in Season 1.5 of Rivals. Play these heroes and you'll win more games. So what we're going to do is break them down into a tier list. We're going to take a look at meta heroes, very strong heroes, also decent heroes, and then niche heroes. I don't think there's inherently a trash hero at the moment, but some heroes are very strong. And I think we need to be aware of all of the patch changes, the balance changes, and everything else that has affected this game for this 1.5 update. So I think the first place to start is going to be with the new characters. And I don't think this is going to come as much as, I guess, a surprise to most people. But we're going to straight up put Human Torch into meta. And the reason for this is he's got so many options available to him. His ultimate is absolutely incredible, especially when it's comboed with Storm. It is just an instant team fight win. I know that it's 2 ultimates required to win, but that is just insane. Like, there's so much damage there. He's got high survivability because he's very maneuverable. He's just got a lot of stuff. He is going to be very, very powerful. But it does mean you're going to see other heroes like Punisher maybe be a bit more stronger in this season because you're going to need anti-air. And you've also got to remember, when the season begins, new heroes and new stuff generally gets played in every single game. So you've got to be aware there is going to be a Human Torch in your game. So you're probably going to need to counter him. But yeah, he is very, very strong right now. His damage potential is incredible. His pyro prison ability is just ridiculous. He is incredibly strong. He's great for damaging everybody on a point, basically. He's great for long range damage. He's great for close range damage. His ultimate is ridiculous. Yeah, it's just very, very strong. So the next hero we're going to take a look at is the Thing. Now, the Thing is a very simplistic hero, but actually he does a lot of things really well. That's the thing. I'm going to put him at very strong. I'm not going to say he's meta at the moment, just because I think we're still in a world of Magneto and Strange as being the meta picks. But I think he's very strong. He's very easy to play. Remember, you've got a form of crowd control resistance with the Thing where you can't be stunned, but you can be knocked down. So some ultimates and some abilities will make you sort of fall over, but you'll get straight back up again. Yeah, you're not going to get booped with this guy or anything like that. He's very good for that. His ultimate is basically like it's an Earth Shatter from Overwatch. Reinhardt's forward Earth Shatter effect. It's basically the same thing. It knocks people up in front. It stuns them. It lets your team get onto them. You've got a charge. You've got an ability where you can jump to your teammate and give them a shield. You literally run at them, but you jump at them and you can get to high ground with it if teammates are high. He's very strong, but I still think we're probably going to be in a world of maybe Hulk. Maybe Hulk's the same sort of tier as him, but we'll discuss that in a second. Because remember, Iron Man has been buffed, so if you get Iron Man and Hulk together on a team, it's going to be disgusting like that. It's going to be disgusting beyond belief. But yeah, I just think he's very strong, the Thing. But the Human Torch, just insanity. All right, let's go back into... we'll just go through the list here, what we've got. We're going to go through supports first, tanks, and then into the Duelists. So, looking at the Duelist, we've got Luna Snow. Now, remember, she has had her ultimate charge time nerfed or increased, if you want to look at it that way. So it takes longer now to get an ultimate when you're playing Luna Snow. That's the only nerf she's got. I personally feel that's not really the path they should go down. What they should do is reduce the duration of this ultimate. It's too long. Yeah, I know she's going to have it less often now, but when it's used, it's still going to feel like it's taking over the game, you know. Oh, we just go AFK until this is finished. Yeah, it's not great. And this is coming from someone who is literally like a Luna Snow main, so yeah, like, she's still really strong, though, because beyond that, the changes are not really anything... Well, like I said, it's just they've just reduced their ultimate frequency. So next up, we've got... we'll continue with the meta tier at the moment. So it's going to be Mantis. And again, it's for exactly the same reasons as Luna Snow. There isn't really any reduction in Mantis's... Well, in anything, really. She doesn't... I don't think she even gets nerfed. She's just... ridiculous. Like, have they no, I think they've removed the nerf from the patch notes, unless they didn't include that nerf. It doesn't really matter anyway, because she's Mantis. Again, big AoE ultimate, great healing, instant healing, easy to apply the healing as well onto range targets, especially flying targets. Good damage buff. The list just goes on and on and on. Very high ceiling with these two, because they can put out a lot of damage, they can look after the south, and they're really high healing output as well. And then also by that extension, Invisible Woman. Now she does get nerfed, Invisible Woman, and she's got the basically increasing the ult cost again. So it goes from 4,000 to 4,300. And again, this is just like, yeah, you won't have your ultimate as often, but when you use it, it's still going to be that monolithic thing, which is very hard to counter. So again, it isn't really much of a power reduction for these heroes. really what they need to do is reduce the duration of them, but maybe they'll do that in future. So yeah, they're still going to be like, these three are still like the best support heroes by quite a long shot, I think. Now we're going to talk about Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger, I've got like a love-hate relationship with Cloak and Dagger. When you get to Diamond and above, I mean, I ended the first half of the season in Grandmaster, but when you get to that level and above, if you ban Cloak and Dagger and there's a Cloak and Dagger on the enemy team, that is like a one-trick Cloak and Dagger, they literally cannot play any other hero just because of the way Cloak and Dagger functions. So they're just not as good with the other heroes, so it's almost like a free win. But I think because of her ultimate nerf, which we do need to go over this because it is quite extensive for her. So what she's got is they've increased the energy cost to activate Eternal Bond, which is the ultimate, from 3,400 to 4,000. The healing amount of each segment will be increased from 220 a second to 250. The duration will be reduced from 10 to 8, and the pause time between segments decreased from 1 second, sorry, to 0.67. And the healing effect from each segment will not stack. When overlapping, only one healing effect is applied. Additionally, camera control is unlocked during the activation of Eternal Bond. And also increase the vulnerability inflicted on enemies by Terror Cape from 20 to 28. So a little bit of a buff there. But what we're looking at here is a massive reduction in the healing output of the ultimate, because you can't layer it. Because we've all seen the clips where Cloak and Dagger just goes back and forth, and then you stand on it and you can take the Punisher ultimate. It's like, what? It's got a lot of healing. That's not going to happen anymore. So her ultimate is not going to be as effective. So I'm just going to put her in the very strong tier. And again, it's almost because I don't want to put her into meta, because yeah, she is good, she is strong, but I do feel like if you put too much time into Cloak and Dagger, it's almost like a false economy, because if she does get banned, or you maybe have to play different support, it's kind of difficult to transition across. But I still think she's very strong. Be under no illusion there, guys. She's still very strong. We're going to take a look at Rocket. Now, Rocket, so Rocket doesn't get any changes this season. But I think he still is really good. Like, Rocket is one of those, in my eyes, one of those like situational supports where if you're getting heavily dove, so like maybe an enemy Venom or a Thor or a Spider-Man or a Magic or any like a Iron Fist is just coming for you like repeatedly, this is a good swap if you're playing support, because you can keep yourself alive. So if I'm playing like Luna Snow or Mantis, yeah, I can maybe try and stun them as these pair. If I get like, let's say Thor coming after me, try and stun him, deal with him or whatever. The problem, well, maybe Thor isn't the best example. We need a high damage hero. Let's just say Spider-Man, right? He's coming after you. It's like you need to stun him, because if you don't, you're going to get battered, right? With Rocket, you can kind of be very annoying. You can heal yourself a lot more than the other supports. So you're spamming your heal. You're rocket boosting, you're wall climbing, you're being super frustrating. And remember, you've also got your Be Right Back beacon, which is great as a team res as well, which can turn a lot of fights that, you know, degenerate into a 5v6 because an early pick from the enemy team straight back into a 6v6 again, which is like a very powerful ability. And his ultimate is okay as well. But yeah, I do think for me, he's more of a situational pick. I would play these three, and then if I'm getting heavily pressured, I might go to Rocket. That's kind of the way I'm thinking with Rocket. But still, he is very strong. His healing output is like just massive. Now, Jeff is an interesting one, because I think in other tier lists, I think I just went like S to D tier. I'd put Jeff at the bottom and say, don't play Jeff, because you could like Jeff's just a heal bot, right? You could do a lot of other things and instead of just Jeffing. But I think I was wrong. I do think now Jeff actually is quite I think he's a bit underrated, Jeff is. It depends on your team comp, because obviously Jeff's going to struggle with, like, you know, healing people, flying heroes, whereas like these lot are not really going to, well, these two, well, and even Invisible Woman, because you'd use your shield to give them real rapid healing, and the shield actually is underrated for Invisible Woman on flying heroes. Jeff ain't really got that, and Jeff sort of relies on people picking up the bubbles, which they will do. Jeff's primary heal is obviously a lot. Jeff's actually pretty good for damage. So I think this is one of the things with Jeff where I don't recommend you do this, but you can play as an aggressive Jeff where you just, you know, go into your shark mode. You're very hard to hit. You're fast. Get into like the enemy supports and then just hit them repeatedly with your alternate fire. And it's almost like they have to land a perfect shot on you every time to hit you, but you're just killing them with literally splash damage. But I don't recommend doing that. But yeah, I think Jeff is still pretty good. Like I'm going to be... No, I'm going to put him in strong. I'm going to say, is he really strong? He's decent, isn't he, really, Jeff? He's decent. Because I think you would play, these are so much better than Jeff. I think that's where the issue sort of I guess, comes from. All right, so the next one is going to be Adam Warlock, and I'm going to put him in decent, but he has been buffed. Now, what they've done is increased his damage, basically. So Adam's damage capability will be enhanced, along with a slight increase in healing ability after activating Soul Bond. So increase the damage of quantum magic from 55 to 60. Additionally, the damage fall off at 40 meters will be changed from 50% to 60%. So that's actually really good for his damage, but increase the healing amount provided by Soul Bond to linked allies from 10 a second to 15. So again, really good. But here's the thing, and the big kicker with Adam Warlock, he cannot escape. Every other support can escape. So, I mean, maybe there's an argument here for Jeff going up there, but let's put Jeff there, actually, if we're going to go with that logic. Adam Warlock cannot escape. He has no movement abilities to get out of anything. All these do. All these can do something to get away. They can either move a bit faster, they can stun you, run away. He cannot. He is just like, I am screwed. You know, like Invisible Woman is pretty good for that. Like, not as good as Jeff, I'd say. But Invisible Woman is pretty good when you activate a passive by double jumping and going invis to try and get out of bad situations. Adam Warlock doesn't have that. I mean, I know you can res yourself when you die, but I don't know. I still think he's going to struggle a bit, but it may even be a niche pick, to be honest. Adam Warlock. I don't want to be too harsh on him at the moment, though, because I do think his buffs, we need to see how they play out. But he is stronger than he was, which is, I guess, good news. Now, the next one is Loki. I think Loki, again, is a bit underrated. I think Loki is... Do I want to say he's very strong? I think he is, you know, Loki. But Loki, I feel... Okay, let's just leave him here, and then we need to discuss this, because I feel like Loki's... the changes to Loki might be the worst in terms of reducing his power output for the support. So, they increase the energy cost of God of Mischief, which is his ultimate, from 3,400 to 4,000. And the simple reason for that is because when you're playing Loki, you just clone Invisible Woman, Mantis, or Lunar Snow. You would go for Lunar Snow every time she's on the enemy team, just so then you get a Lunar Snow ulti. You know, it's like crazy. But they're increasing magical missile charges from 10 to 12 as a result, so you get a bit more damage, I guess, in that regard. I feel like Loki is kind of... He's got a lot of answers to high damage output with his clones if the clones are placed properly and he activates the heal field on himself, because obviously it applies to all clones. You can outlive tons of damage. It's really, really strong. And also, he's very good for just getting away. Like, he's not that difficult. It's not that easy for him to be killed. But I do feel like... I think I'm gonna keep him in this tier. I think he belongs in this tier, Loki. But we may see Loki get a little bit better this season, because I think the added damage potential could be quite interesting for Loki. But again, the problem becomes with Loki, if you focus his clones, he has like a severe drop in like his value, or his power output really drops quite heavily because he relies on the clones to amplify everything he's doing. So I don't know. But again, good clone placement can just be insane. So I do think he's very strong when he's played well. So I think, yeah, that wraps up the supports and the two new guys. But I do think we're still looking at this as basically the support meta right now. Okay, let's take a look at the tank heroes, and let's just go for this. So, we do have tank changes. So let me just look at these just to make sure we're not talking absolute crap. I don't think we've got too many tank changes. I know Venom's been changed, and I know Magneto and Thor. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Captain America, that's right. So, okay, Venom. Venom does get, like, a bit of a buff, right? So, Venom's change is adjust the knockback effect of Frenzied Arrival from vertical to inward with an inward knockback angle of 75 degrees. So that should, I guess, make it easier for you to do damage to them as you knock them back, because you're kind of pulling them towards you. I suppose that's what that means. Not entirely sure, though, but, yeah. But here's the other thing. So, reducing the energy cost of Feast of the Abyss, which is the ultimate, from 2,800 to 2,500. So I feel with Venom, I feel like Venom is very strong, and I feel like I don't think much has changed for Venom this season, and I still think he's going to be a very strong hero to play, because if you are playing him aggressively as a dive tank, and you are going in, and even with the help of flankers, maybe you've got a Psylocke or, you know, an Iron Fist or whatever, and you're going in with them on the back line, you can just win the game. Like, he is one of the heroes that gives me a nightmare when I'm playing support, because there's nothing better for me to just sit at the back pumping healing out like I'm just doing whatever. But the moment a Venom identifies that and thinks, what the hell, and comes after me, I've suddenly got a whole other issue to deal with, and it's a problem, and it can force me to change heroes. So I've been in games with Venoms that have been insane, and it's generally because they're playing an aggressive dive style. So I feel like I'm going to put him in very strong, because he is really good if you let him get away with it. If your team let him get away with it and don't peel for the supports, and he is just going in on your back line, he is super strong. But if they do adapt, if they do change, then there can be a problem because, well, you know, where's the value going to come from? So I don't know. I think he's very strong though. I think he is strong. But obviously there's still a couple of tanks that are maybe a little bit better. All right, so let's talk about Doctor Strange next. We're going to go straight for him. So he's still meta. I hate to break this to you. They've reduced his health by 50. This isn't really going to do too much to Doctor Strange. A lot of Doctor Strange tanking is alternating your primary fire with your shield. So you take damage to yourself, and now you've only got 600 instead of 650. Then you shield, primary fire, you shield, your primary fire, you shield, your primary fire. And you just kind of go for that, right? You just keep moving forward. If you take too much damage, you'll float up into the air just to try and like make it a bit harder for enemy players to get you, and hopefully you get healed. Your shield's recharging, and away you go. Yeah, it's still going to be good. I think the issue with Strange is his shield is massive, so it's really powerful, really easy to use. His portal is fantastic. His ultimate is incredible. His damage output's really good. Taking 50 HP off him, I don't think he cares. I think he's still an S tier meta tank, and he will be until the next season. I just cannot see that changing. So another tank I'm going to put into the S tier or the meta tier is Hulk. I'm going to put him above the Thing because it's simply because of his team up. His team up with Doctor Strange and Iron Man is great, but it's even better this season because Iron Man gets giga buffed with his damage. So if you've got Hulk on your team and you've got an Iron Man, it's going to be crazy. But also he's just Hulk, right? So again, he's a really good dive tank. It's very survivable. Does take a bit of skill because you need to know when to come in and go out, in and out, and all of that stuff, and what targets to prioritize. But he's definitely what I would say the go-to dive tank if you can play him. This is the other big thing. When you get to Diamond and above, he's probably going to be banned in basically every game. So again, there might be a bit of false economy here, like we talk about with Cloak and Dagger. It might be the same case for Hulk, where what's the point of learning Hulk if you're just going to get banned out repeatedly? You may as well play Venom. So I don't know, but I still think if you can play him and you get away with it, he's going to be absolutely bonkers, like super strong. Next up is Groot. Now Groot, so Groot's buff is, I don't know why they've done this, but they've increased the range you can make walls. So it used to be 15 meters away from Groot. Now it's 18. So you can deploy walls further away. Now, the way walls are used with Groot, we've all been there on the New York map where at the spawn, Groot just blocks everything. Nobody can heal. Like, your team have to destroy his walls. If they don't and they ignore it, nobody gets healed and you die. It's super frustrating. But I think this has just made him better. And I still think he's a very good pick. I still think he's a top tier tank. And I might even, I don't want to say he's meta. I'm not sure. I'm going to say he's very strong, but I think he can fluctuate between layers here. But I think he's very strong. But I still think I probably want Strange or Magneto above him. But yeah, but Groot's buffed, guys. I mean, I don't know why they've buffed him. Just seems crazy because I thought he was fine as is. Okay, let's go for Magneto. So Magneto, what they've done with him is increased his iron volley damage from 35 to 40. But they've increased Metallic Curtain's energy consumption from 50 a second to 65 a second, reducing its maximum duration from 2 to 1.5 seconds. So he's been nerfed, a little bit of survivability. But he's still Magneto. He's still got a big shield. He's still got the potential to protect himself and protect an ally. He's still got really good damage output. He's still got a really good ultimate, which, by the way, has been fixed in this patch because there was a bug where sometimes, you may have noticed this when you play, Magneto hits you with his ultimate and you don't die and you're like, oh, I got away with that. It's because it was bugged and it was like not registering impacts. Apparently now it's fixed, so he's going to get more kills with his ultimate. I think it's interesting with Magneto as well because you'll see the better players, they'll pop their ulti and they'll really wait until sort of like the end of the ulti to fire it. Of course, when he's in the ulti phase or state, he's obviously sucking in all projectiles, so he's acting like a tank anyway. And then when he lobs the thing, it's like, oh my god, it's literally instant death if he hits supports with it or Duelist. So yeah, I think he's really good. Like, these are the two guys that I think, again, we're still looking at them as the best tanks in the game by far. Strange and Magneto, absolutely 100%. So the next one is Captain America, right? Now, so Cap, this is really interesting, right? I love it when there's a Cap on my team and he's got the Lord icon. And that Cap player knows what he's doing. And he never dies and he's constantly harassing the enemy team. That's what Cap does best, right? He's so frustrating. And so in some ways, it's like, I love it. He's almost like meta. But then he's very niche. And I think I'm going to have to put him in the niche tier because he's such a unique tank. Because he's like a brawler dive tank. He wants to get in there. He can also move really quickly. But they have buffed him, right? So this niche tier is almost like a cheap get out, I think, from me. I don't think he's bad. But I think he's bad if he's played by someone who don't know what they're doing. But in the hands of a Lord player, which, by the way, not all Lord players are great. You know, like, Lord just means how long you've played the game, essentially. I know you can get it faster if you complete the achievements quicker. But, yeah, anyway, maybe that's a bad example. But what I'm saying is a Cap player is just going to be better this season because listen to these buffs. So he will be able to shield himself with Living Legend in mid-leap. That is a Giga buff. That is insanely powerful because he's just not going to take damage as he's jumping towards you. Increase Vibranium Energy Soar projectile speed from 60 meters a second to 80 meters per second, with ricochets ramping up from 100 to supercharged 150. So he's going to be like lobbing that like crazy. Reduce the energy cost of Freedom's Charge, which is the ultimate, from 1,300 to 2,800. And enhance Captain America's combat experience by separating Sentinel Strike from melee attacks. Captain America will be able to use melee attacks while his shield is thrown or during the team-up ability charged Aegis state to activate the first 2 hits of Sentinel Strike. Additionally, while airborne, using melee strikes or melee strikes will no longer trigger Super Soldier Slam ability. So this is like huge. Like I think he's going to be... I'm maybe going to try and learn to play him this season. But I do think he's buffed. He's really buffed here, guys. Survivability, damage. Remember, he got buffed as well at the start of Season 1. This is really strong. But I still think he's kind of niche. So I'm going to leave him there. But he could easily start going into the very strong tier. Maybe. We'll see. But Cap, I think, has been... Yeah, he's been buffed. So Thor. He's had a bit of a buff, right? So the Mighty Thor, or the Mightiest Guardian, will offer greater user experience after unleashing Awakening Rune, unleashing the Thunder. So remove the shared cooldown time after the duration of Awakening Rune ends. So it's not really anything major there. Maybe, if anything, it's just a quality of life change. But I think it is a bit of a buff. Yeah, he's still good. I'm going to put him at very strong just because, again, I think Thor is like Venom. And I suppose, like... a kind of a cheeky bit of advice is if you are looking to climb through the ranks, I know not everyone plays competitive, people just want to win whatever game they're playing, but if you're looking to get through the ranks, if you're in the lower tiers, if you're in like your bronze, silver, gold, probably into platinum, you can play Thor and just play aggressively and just go into the back line instead of maybe playing a Magneto or a Strange who are more like team defense orientated, because you're kind of like relying on your team a little bit, whereas with Thor it's just I'm going to go in and kill you. It's the same with Venom, I'm going to go in and kill you, and the same with Hulk, I'm going to go in and kill you. But and also the Thing, I think the Thing is going to be really good for this. I'm just going to go in and kill you. In fact, I think that's actually going to be an interesting debate. That is the Thing versus Captain America. Who would you rather have on your team? I feel like the Thing's just going to have value straight away, but Cap's got more value. Maybe if played right. Interesting anyway. Yeah, so I think that's fine. Penny Parker, I don't think she gets any changes. No, Penny Parker doesn't get any changes. And I think what I'm going to have to do is... see, the thing with Penny, I might get slated by Penny mains for doing this. I feel she's almost niche in some ways. She's really, really good if there's like 2 critical things here. Your team play around the spider nest. If they do, you can be really strong, because obviously if your spider nest gets killed, then you lose a lot of your like damage potential in that area. But if your team are on the spider nest, the enemy have got to come to the spider nest to fight you, and if it's placed in a good position, you know, hidden with line of sight, you know, it's hard for the enemy team to get to it, and it can be like a ton of value. Again, she's very good on locking down points. She's more of like an anchor tank, an area defense tank. You know, it's not the greatest when you get her on like an attack phase and, you know, you need to push a payload or whatever. Maybe not the best for that, but she can still be viable. But I do think she's just like very good at one specific thing. And like when you get her on the right map and you're like, yeah, we need to defend this first point, we've got Penny Parker, like it's great. You love it because you sort of know what you almost like know what you're going to get from it, right? So I do think she's strong. I think I'll leave her there for now though, because I don't think she's like ultra meta or like super strong. I think she's just she's strong. She's okay. All right, let's move on to the Duelist. Now, we're going to start with... we'll start with Iron Fist. This is bonkers, right? So listen to his buff. Reduce the damage of Jet Kundu's first, second, and fifth strikes from 32 to 30, while the third and the fourth strikes will deal 15 damage instead of 16. The final devastating 6th strike has been dialed back from 55 to 50. The cooldown reduction for Dragon's defense has been extended from 1 to 1.5 seconds. The damage of each hit from Jet Ji Chun Quen, I'm going to get all these names wrong, but whatever, will hit, dropping from 10 to a flat, from 19, sorry, to a flat 10. That's pretty big. Damage including during Living Chi. However, each strike from Yat Ji Chung Quen now delivers an extra blow, dealing damage equal to 1.7% of the opponent's maximum health. Right, so that's all very complicated there, but basically it's like redistributing the amount of damage he does, I think, to not do it as fast, so just a little bit slower. And the reason for that is they're making him more survivable. So check this out. Increase the additional maximum health granted by Harmony Recovery from 50 to 150. A new decay mechanism for the extra health has also been introduced. 1 second after the ability ends, the additional health will now deplete at a rate of 25 health per second. So think of that. That is crazy. When you heal, if you're already full, you can giga buff yourself with more health. It will decay when you stop doing the healing thing. But then as you're running in, you've got extra health. It's like you've buffed yourself with extra health. That's crazy. But this is mental as well. Increase the maximum health bonus. The bonus health converted from damage blocked during Dragon's defense from 150 to 200. But this increased base health from 250 to 300. This is like crazy, right? I think what they're doing here is they're almost making him. He's like a mini tank. He's not, but he's way more durable now. So I feel like. Apologies, I'm coughing to death. I should have got a drink. I knew this was going to be a long video. I should have got a drink. My mistake. But anyway, I feel like with him, he's going to be a lot better at flanking now. He's going to be a lot more independent because he's got a better heal. He's going to have more health. He can be more annoying because he's going to be harder to get rid of. He's just not going to have as much burst damage as he had, but he's still going to be quite a lot of damage. But then on the other hand, like originally I was thinking, oh yeah, he's just going to play him as a flanker more often than anything now. But then I started thinking, no, actually, this would be pretty good in a brawl as well. Because think about it, you've got more health. You're not going to die. You're literally not going to die. And you can even just pop your heal just in the fights and everything now. And just, I mean, I guess you could do that before. But I mean, this is, I think this is like crazy. I don't think he even needed a change. That's the crazy thing. So I don't know where to put him. I really don't know where to put him. I think it's like a bit of a playstyle change you might see, but it's just going to be a lot more survivable. That might make him really good, right? Because it's going to make it easy for healers to heal him if he gets low, because he's got more health to begin with, so he's not going to die as quick. He's going to be more annoying to tanks. You know what? I'm going to put him in very strong, and we need to see what's going to happen to him. But if you are an Iron Fist main, I think you're going to be loving it, because this is just like, you've just been buffed. Yeah, you don't do as much damage quick as, well, you don't do damage as fast as you used to do, but now you just survive so much longer. It's crazy, like literally crazy that is. All right, let's take a look at the other heroes. So I think Wolverine didn't get a change, I don't think. No, so Wolverine didn't get a change, but again, he's one of those heroes where he will get banned a lot at higher ranks because he is very good at just displacing the enemy tank and into your team, and then you kill them. He's still strong though. He's still good, Wolverine. I'm going to leave him at strong though. I don't really have too much to say on him, to be fair, because he gets banned in every game I play. It's crazy. He just gets banned all of the time. People hate him. They just hate him being on the enemy team. Magic. All right, Magic gets a, like, people were saying this is a, like, not really a buff, it's a nerf. I think this is a buff, right? I really like Magic. And by the way, she's got a sick new skin. So maybe there's a bit of my bias coming in here, like saying, oh, I like Magic and whatever. But I think, I'm not going to put her in very strong. I'm going to put her in, I don't know, actually. Can I say she's niche? You know what? I might even say Magic is niche because Magic has got a very high win rate. One of the highest win rates in Season 1 so far. Now she does more damage when she's in Dark Child form, or she gets it more often, sorry, I should say. But she does less damage from the regular... okay, hang on. There's a bit of nuance here. So, decrease the damage dealt by Demon's Rage, regular state, from 80 to 72. So the Demon's Rage thing, which I think is the little thing that spawns, isn't it? Does less damage. The actual slash ability, that hasn't been nerfed, which in the leaked patch notes, it was claimed as being nerfed, but it's not. And they've reduced the energy cost of Dark Child. So you've got more Dark Child, but your little demons are not as damaging, but you get more Dark Child. I just think it's a buff. I really think it's a buff. I'm going to leave her at strong, though. Because, again, I think with Magic, if the enemy team counter you, and they think, oh, there's just a Magic, and we're going to peel for our supports, or the supports stick together, it can be hard for Magic to get value. Because you really do want to be flanking with Magic. Like, I don't really want to see Magic is like a brawler in a team fight. You want to see her isolating 1v1s with Duelists or trying to, you know, take out a support. I'll leave her at strong, but maybe she gets a skin buff. All right, Black Panther. I don't think he gets any changes this season, although he did kind of get nerfed. I'm gonna skip through some of these pretty quickly because I think you know, they're almost interchangeable. Like Black Panther, Wolverine, Magic. They're kind of similar in what they do and what they offer. Black Panther can still do ridiculous stuff. You get his combos right, you can do loads of damage. I think he's strong. He's definitely not terrible, so I would leave it as that. Spider-Man. So Spider-Man gets a buff, right? Now, I think this might actually be a good buff for Spider-Man. I think this... Well, I say good buff. I think this is like a really strong buff for Spider-Man. So his web cluster energize time from 3 seconds to 2.5. So this is more mobility for him by quite a bit. Is it enough to make him very strong, though? I don't know. I think he's still... I think I'm just going to leave him as strong. He's okay. I want to see what this Iron Fist turns out into. I think he's fine. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to feel a lot better if you're a Spidey player because you're going to have loads more movement. So, yeah. I think he's going to be pretty good, actually. He's a difficult one. We'll have to reconvene about Spidey, but I think he's going to be pretty good. Let's leave him at strong. I'll leave him at strong for now. I think that's just because I see Spidey players who are just brain dead. And they just come in and they die. They've always got the Lord icon. They've got like the Avengers skin on. And then they just instantly feed. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, dear. Right, who we got next? Psylocke. Okay, no changes for Psylocke this season. Psylocke is really, really damn good. A lot of the best players in the world, the highest ranked DPS players are playing Psylocke. I'm not going to say she's meta because I feel like it's hard to say a duelist is meta because there's so many options available. And depending on what these guys end up being in the team is like, I mean, like if you get Hulk on your team, you want Iron Man, right? So he becomes meta, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of different, I think, combinations. I think though this guy definitely is meta. He's so stupid. And I'm still probably going to put Storm up there, spoiler, even though she's been nerfed a bit. Again, she gets banned in literally every game, and there's a reason for that. Yeah, I'm going to say Psylocke's very strong, right? Psylocke's really good. I like the Psylocke playstyle of being with your team though and actually using her damage because her damage is very strong on the primary and alternate fire to like burn down tanks and burn down people in team fights rather than just go, like exclusively going for flanks. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, so let's move on to Mr. Fantastic. Okay, I don't know about Mr. Fantastic. So he's a tank. He is not a duelist. And I think I even said that in my tier list for season 1. I was like, yeah, he's a tank, this guy. I don't know why they're calling him a duelist. I'm just going to say he's decent. He's okay. He's had buffs. He's okay. There are some fun moments you can have when he's on your team. And if you've got the team up with like Invisible Woman, then yeah, it makes him a lot more tanky. His Reflect is funky. He's kind of easy to keep alive because, like I said, he is like a tank. His ultimate got buffed, didn't it? I think they buffed his ultimate in... Oh, God, it was in this patch. I do apologise, guys. I thought it was the other patch, but it wasn't. Let's just go over what they've done to him then. So they've increased the spell field radius after landing from flexible elongation from 2.5 meters to 5 meters. So that's massive. So the ultimate is like... That's going to be... Yeah. Additionally, elongation will now feature a knockback effect, launching enemies outwards within the area upon landing. The recharge time for each single use of flexible elongate... No, why am I calling that his ultimate? That's not his ultimate. That's his Reflect, isn't it? It has now gone for 8 to 10 seconds. And, yeah, his Brainiac bounce is ultimate. This is where I was getting confused. So, and what they've done is the spell... Increase the damage of the spell from 50 to 70. Increase the energy cost from 2,800 to 3,400. It takes a bit longer to charge, but you're doing more damage per hit. You're doing 20 more damage per hit. Additionally, a new damage decay mechanism has been introduced. Spell field damage will begin to decrease, starting at 3 meters, and will reach a maximum of 50 at 10 meters. You know what? I don't know, actually. This might be... After reading that, I'm making a hot take decision here. After reading that, I think he is better than decent now. He's strong. He could be flying under the radar, actually. Ooh, that's going to be a really interesting one to watch. He's going to be flying under the radar, maybe. Ooh, keep your eyes peeled on Mr. Fantastic. He could be crazy. Oh, yeah, Iron Man. So Iron Man just gets, like, buff, because why not? So, yeah. So, the Iron Man buff. When I read this off, you'll be like, what the hell is this? I like playing Iron Man as well, but... So, increase Unibeam damage from 120 to 140 a second. Right. Increase Unibeam in armor overdrive mode. Damage from 180, sorry, to 190. I almost want to put him up here, you know. I've got like there's this like horrific meta of Human Torch and Iron Man and Storm. Triple DPS. What? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Like, all right, let me be logical about this. He's not meta, but he would be in the situation where Hulk is on your team. I think without a Hulk, you're just Iron Man, and I think your problem is, I'm going to put him in strong tier. Your problem is Storm and Human Torch are better than you without relying on a team up. If you've got a team up, you're going to do a lot of damage with your beam. But beyond that, you're still, yeah, I think these guys are probably, well, Storm, when I get to her, she's next, will be better. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to put Iron Man. All right, so Storm. Storm gets nerfed. So, listen to this with Storm. Damage fall off from Windblade at 30 meters will be changed from 70% to 60%. Reduce Storm's damage increase from Thunder during weather control from 16% to 12%. However, the damage increase for allies within range has been increased from 8 to 10%. So that's redistributing a bit of her damage from herself to her allies in that form. And reduce Storm's damage increase from enhanced Thunder during weather control from 30 to 25%. I don't think this really matters, Storm. And I think the big new thing in the sort of season is Human Torch, and we know that this combo is bonkers. We just know that these pair together, we'll put them together actually, them pair together are just insane. We know they're just going to kill you. You're just going to be deleted. And that's going to happen until the Rivals devs make a balance change. And we do know that they're actually committing to making faster sort of mini balance changes if anything gets out of control. This is going to get out of control. So I would just play this until you can't, and then, yeah, we reconvene and we see where Storm is. But I do think on her own, though, she's better than Iron Man. And, yeah, she's meta. If you can play her, she's crazy. But like I said, she will get banned a lot at Diamond and above because she's Storm and nobody wants her in the game. All right, next up is Scarlet Witch. So she gets a little change, Scarlet Witch, right? So she gets an additional 100 bonus health when she pops her ulti, which I think is actually all right, you know, and it's got a decay rate of 50 a second after the ability ends or she gets interrupted. I think I put her really high, didn't I, in the original? I don't know whether I did. I'm not sure. I feel like she's not strong. I think she's decent. I'll just leave her at that. She's okay. The problem is with her, again, out of the flying heroes, she's not really a flying hero, is she? I can't call her a flying hero. The problem with her is, I'm going to sound really harsh saying this, is if you invest all of your time into Scarlet Witch, you're not getting the skills to play other heroes, right? You're going to be lacking in aim a lot. You're relying on a lock-on attack. Yeah, I know her alternate fire does fire as a projectile forward. Your ultimate, though, is going to be more effective this season, so you are going to get a bit more value from that, just because you're going to be more survivable while you're using it. But 100 health, is it really that much? I've noticed that once you get to like Platinum and above, as soon as people hear her with her ult line, they shoot her. They look at her and just start killing her, because they know you can't trigger it straight away. And an extra 100 health, is it really going to make much difference? I'm not sure. So I'm just going to leave her at decent. I think she's still going to be kind of underwhelming. Hela. So Hela gets a little change, and this one, so the Hela change was damage fall off from Night Sword Thorn at 30 meters will be changed from 70% to 80%. So that's her primary fire basically. So it's not as good. No, sorry, it is. Hang on. The Asgardian Goddess of Death will cast a longer shadow and increase to her mid to long range suppression. Yeah, because well, it's 70 to 80 damage fall off. No, instead of it being 70... I don't know what I'm reading there. Whatever, just disregard that. It doesn't matter. Hela is still really good. If you can play her, she's going to be meta, but she's probably going to get banned. So I'm going to just leave her as very strong. But she is one of those heroes where if you've got aim, there's not really much more to it with Hela. You just aim with your primary fire, and that's where you get most of your value from. Yeah, I know you've got your sort of AoE stun thingy or your slow thingy. You've got your ultimate, which is really good. Your alternate fire, which is decent. But a lot of it is just primary fire. You track those shots. You land those shots. She's a hit scan hero. You get loads of value. But again, she does get banned. You know, between like her, Storm, Hulk, they're just getting banned every game. And Wolverine, these are like the main guys who get banned every single game. And it's like hard for them to get a bunch of playtime. Okay, Star-Lord. All right, Star-Lord's ultimate gets nerfed, but I still think he's pretty good, Star-Lord. Let's put him in the strong tier, and I'll just read off what this is. So, his ultimate, increased rocket propulsion's maximum energy. Oh, no. I thought his ultimate got nerfed. It didn't. So that must be different from the leaked patch notes. I thought they were accurate, you know. They came from a good source. Anyway, so Star-Lord's mobility is getting a stellar upgrade. Increased rocket's propulsion maximum energy from 1,200 to 1,600. Are we going to still leave him here? I don't think we can, you know. I think we've got to put him in very strong. He just deletes the back line with his ultimate. I thought his ult was getting nerfed, his charge rate. I guess not. Yeah, I guess we're just leaving it at that. Okay, that's surprising, but we'll take it. So Moon Knight, now he does get nerfed in his ultimate, and we need to go over this in detail because, where is he? Yeah, so Moon Knight, here we go. I'm going to put him as decent because Moon Knight has always just been decent, but he was incredibly good because his ultimate would just catch everyone off guard, and it was bugged. It was doing too much damage. So they've reduced the Hand of Khonshu Talon's falling speed. So what that means is they don't fall down as quick. So if it's cast on you, you've got time to like get out. You can still be unlucky. Maybe you're in the middle of it. You don't get out in time. One hits you, but you should be able to like get away. Like maybe you take a hit, but you get away. And they've corrected the damage trigger logic for Hand of Khonshu. The previous mechanism that dealt 75 damage when positioned at the center of the spell field has been removed. Increased the damage of each hit from 75 to 150. So, with it being 150, if you've got full health on on every hero in the game, it hits you one hand. You should still be able to get out. It's not going to instantly kill you. And what was happening before is it was like double triggering damage. It was only at 75, but it was double triggering 75 damage in the center, and the hands were coming down very quick. So you just basically all died in it. So I think this is going to basically, I think it's going to put him to bed and say, yeah, Moon Knight is just going to be decent now. His ultimate has been sort of looked after. But we do need to keep an eye on that, because if it gets strong again, we might see him going up the tiers, because it was an instant teamfight win. And there is something that's got to be said about Moon Knight's ultimate. It is a counter to Invisible Woman's ultimate, because that does not move. You cast that on the ground, and then you throw your Moon Knight ultimate into it. It means no one can go in there, so it negates the ultimate. So, some ways, it's good for that. But the other ultimates, like Mantis and Lunar Snow, you can obviously just move away. So, maybe not as good, but still decent. I think he's decent. A Squirrel Girl, I don't think she gets any changes this season. Pretty sure she don't. No. Gets a map though. She's got a house in Central Park. And we saved the Squirrel God in that map from Dracula. I think she's alright. I'm just going to say she's decent. But the problem with Squirrel Girl is I don't think I see enough of her when I'm playing the game. But does she win a lot when you see it? I think she's got a high win rate as well, according to the developers, which I wouldn't be surprised by. But she does catch you off guard. She does quite a lot of damage. In my head, she's just Junkrat from Overwatch. And I think, yeah, good in certain scenarios, but not great in other scenarios. Her ultimate buff was good, though, and that she got recently, where the squirrel, as it goes through a target and it hits a wall, it will actually then seek a target out. It won't just randomly bounce to like another direction, because that could mean it did literally no damage. So, yeah, she's all right. She's decent. I'm just going to say she's decent. Squirrel Girl mains out there are like, no, Star, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. And I agree. I agree. Punisher gets no changes this season, but we're going to have to... I mean, we've got to put him in very strong, Punisher. We've got to, because he is one of the best counters to the flying heroes because of his sustained hit scan damage. Him and Hela are great, but Punisher doesn't get banned. Hela does. He doesn't, and his turret can be quite good as well. His ultimate is also really good. So Punisher, he's a bit bland, he's a bit boring. He's the Soldier 76, the COD guy of Rivals, but I think he's good. Just because these guys are good and they're all flying, and he can just shoot them. I love it. He does a lot of damage. Also, Bucky, there's not really any change for him, but again, he's just... nothing needs to be said about him. He's really strong. His ultimate's great. His damage output's great. His survivability is good. His hook is good as well. By the way, you can't hook the thing. He's just hits him and he just laughs at you. He's like, whatever. So maybe a little bit of reduction in his power level if the thing's in every game, but I don't really think that matters, because he's still going to be putting out good damage with his primary fire anyway. Yeah, so he's very strong. And Namor, again, I'm just going to go straight. He is also very strong. Namor is great because Namor, he's somewhat... I would have said in the past he was a niche hero because you'd pick him to counter team comps that have got a lot of flankers in. So if we're going to see more Iron Fist this season because of his hero, because of his health buff, Namor's going to be better, right? Because he's good at dealing with him because he's octopus. Yeah, they're octopus. I was going to call them squid, but they're not. They're octopus. They are great at dealing with flankers, basically, because if you put them in the back, they're great. Namor himself has got good damage output. His ultimate's good as well. He's very frustrating to play against. Not the most flashy with the Duelist, but he's good at locking down areas. He's good at locking down points. Very good, like I said, against flankers. He's okay against flying heroes as well. And even just the fact that you have to destroy the octopus is taking away damage potential that should be going into enemy players as well. But I just think because of his anti-fast moving hero octopus tech, he's really strong. So Namor, I love it when I get Namor on my team. All right, Hawkeye gets buffed here. I'm not sure what is going on here with Hawkeye. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, this is what they've done. So they've increased base health from 250 to 275, reduced projectile damage of blast arrow from 20 to 15, while the spell field damage will be increased from 25 to 32. So the spell field, I think, is what's left after the blast, isn't it? So redistributing the damage there, that's kind of fine. I guess maybe that's like a net AoE damage buff for him. And reduce the damage cooldown time for Crescent Slash from 15 to 12 seconds, so his slash. Increase bow draw speed during the duration of Hunter's Sight, the ultimate ability, and raise the damage multiplier from 1.2 to 1.35. So firing slower, but you're doing more damage in the ultimate. It's an odd one, Hawkeye is. I think he's just the Hanzo of this game. He's going to be, if someone knows what they're doing and they land the shots, they take over the lobby. If they don't, then they don't. Yeah, I've not seen him get banned out too much throughout Season 1 either, so I'm not really... I don't know. I'm just going to leave him as strong at the moment. He's strong, but... No, you know what? Let's put him into niche. He's niche, isn't he? Because you need to know what you're doing with him. If you've got a good aim with him, you're going to get results. If you don't, nothing's going to happen and you're trash. So these changes won't matter. Let's put him down there with Cap. No, although the difference with Cap is Cap could be literally very strong. We don't know. Caps are flying under the radar. And then finally, unfortunately, Black Widow. Yeah, she's niche. Just because, again, you need cracked aim to play her. You need to be, like, literally insane. Actually, not going to get any value. She has been buffed, though, this season. She's got extra ammo, I believe. Yeah, so what she gets this season is increase the magazine capacity of the rifle from 8 to 15, which is massive. And enhance the slow effect of electroplasma explosion, which is the ultimate, on enemies from 80% to 55%. Have I read that correct? Enhance the slow effect of electroplasma explosion on enemies from 80% to 55%. Additionally, it will apply a 15% vulnerability effect. Well, whatever. It makes the enemies more vulnerable when it hits them. And I think they're saying it slows them down a bit more there. But all of this kind of really doesn't matter because the thing with her is she's kind of easy to dive. She does have a kick, which is okay. But she still needs to land those clutch headshots on people for the maximum damage. Again, if you know what you're doing with her, you can get a lot of results. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. It's been a long video, but I think those are the best heroes right now. Definitely at the top tier. These are definitely the best heroes you can play. And these guys, yeah, the two top tiers, I dedicate time to those if you're looking to just sort of play the strongest heroes. But as ever, you need to take every match as it comes. And when you get to hero bans, your hero might be banned out as well. So you need to be flexible. It always makes sense in this game because there's no role lock to be able to play a hero in every role. And at least to be able to play two different heroes in the role that you specialize in. Don't ever just main one hero and play no other heroes. Like, don't be a one trick because that can be a problem. Like I said, it's massively amplified with Cloak and Dagger. Because if you're a Cloak and Dagger one trick, it's very hard to play other heroes. In fact, she's probably the worst hero in the game for that. Doesn't really have many like transferable skills to other heroes. Anyway, let me know, guys, what you think about this in the comments below. And get out there and enjoy Season 1.5. It's going to be sick. The Human Torch is going to be in every game. And holy hell. I'm going to just be getting set on fire in a fiery storm tornado. I know it. It's just going to happen to me. Oh. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa. And I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. See you soon.